Hello everyone, my name is Lali Singh. Welcome to this channel. I hope you guys are doing really great. So the end goal of this video to containerize the FastAPI application, and the after that I'm gonna uh, use the image and run the container with the help of Docker, right? So first thing I'm gonna create a image of the FastAPI application, and after that I'm gonna use the image and run the container with the help of Docker basic command. After that, I'm gonna use the same image and run the container with the help of Docker Compose file, right? So let's go to the PyCharm editor. So this is a fast API Hello World application. So this is my second last video I created. On that video, I talk about this application. So you haven't um, if you haven't go through it, like please go through it. Right, and so first thing we have to make sure this application should be in a like a running state, right? So now it says, yeah, it's running into the 8000. Let's cross verify. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's stop that. Okay, um okay, before moving further, we have to make sure Docker should be installed in your machine properly, and it should be in the running state, right? So in order to verify that, you have to open the terminal and uh, and check the status of the Docker command, right? So I'm gonna use this command, Docker service, Docker status command, right? So sudo service Docker status, right? So it says our Docker is running fine. So if you don't know about like what is Docker or what is container and all these stuff, so I already created a video about it, and I will add the link into the description. And if you already know, you can skip right back to the editor. Okay, we are good here. So FastAPI also already having the like they already documented all the stuff in order to create a containerized image for the FastAPI application. So I'm gonna take help of that documentation. So first thing they are saying we have to maintain a requirements.txt with a proper packages. So let's open the requirement.txt. This is empty. Um, let's open the terminal. So this is the virtual environment that we created in the second last video. So this package having the all the pack this environment having the all the packages. If you wanted to see, we can use pip list command, right? It will show all the packages, right? So yeah, and in order to copy and paste into the requirement or txt, I'm going to use the pip freeze command, right? Now we having the requirement.txt having the all the packages. Let's save it and close that file. The next thing they are saying, we have to create an app directory, right? So as of now we having the main.py under the project root directory. Let's create a new directory and move that file into this. We already having the main.py. Let's move it, right? And we are done. Let's ignore the init.py for time being. The next thing they are saying, we have to create a project directory. We have to create a Docker file under the project directory. Let's create a file, Docker file. Just copy and paste all the things. Okay, so in the first line, this is basically downloading this Python 3.9 image from the Docker Hub registry. So all these Python images maintained by the Python uh, official Python team, as per my understanding. So this line gonna download, and so it's kind of this Python registry is a kind of part of this Docker file. So either you can set up all the Python and all other like operating system detail by yourself, or you can use these kind of already published publicly available registry, right? So as per the documentation, we can go with this 3 Python 3.9, right? So you're gonna download this from the public registry, and gonna make it as a part of our Docker file. After that, this gonna create a code directory, right? After that, this command gonna copy all our requirement.txt, and gonna copy and paste it under the code slash requirement.txt. After that, it gonna install this requirement file. After that, it gonna copy app whatever we have under the app directory, and gonna paste under the quotes under slash apps directory, right? So whatever we have under this folder, it's gonna move paste under this code slash apps directory, right? After that, it's gonna run this fast API application with the help of unicorn, and gonna open it. It's gonna expose it's gonna use 80 port in order to run this fast API application. If you remember in the when we run this fast API application at the time we was using 8000 port, right? But now we are using 80 port number. So this is a very important Docker file. So this Docker file gonna hold all the requirement command and step to create an image, right? So we are done with the Docker file. We are good. Okay, go to the main documentation. Okay, so we have to make sure we are following this correct this directory structure. The main should be under the app directory, and the rest of the file we can put under the project root. So yeah, we having the main under the app directory, and the Docker file and requirement.txt here like up under the project root directory. Okay, so the next step is we need to create an image of this application, right? So if you wanted to see all the images that we have in the machine at the time, at the time being, we having this command docker images, right? It will list down all the images that we have, right? So right now we having Python 3 and the kubectl, which I'm using for the different purpose. The hell then, and the next one is the hello world, right? So after the when I'm gonna create an image, after that we gonna show one more image for our FastAPI application, right? So in order to do that, we can use docker build command. So we have to execute this command like a from the place where the docker file should be exit, right? So in order to verify, yeah, so we are in the correct location. We have the docker file here, and we can execute this file. So docker build dot hyphen t, and the image of the name is a fast API, right? So let's build it. So it's building the image, right? So you can see that like it's executing the step whatever that you mentioned in the docker file, right? So it take time some, right? So now installing these packages. um, okay. Okay, I hope we are almost there. Let's wait for a moment. Okay, we are done. So if I execute this Docker images command, so now we can see like we having the fast API image, right? And the tag is latest. Uh, so the next thing is how we can use this fast API, how we can use this image and run the container. Okay, so let's close this. Okay, 8,000 port is free. Sorry, stop now. Okay, next thing we need to, okay, exec we need to this command we can execute from anywhere. This is not really like a required to execute from the place where Docker file exists, right? So I'm gonna execute the Docker run hyphen D. Hyphen D is it, not to like up to run the this container into the daemon mode, and hyphen P is a port number. So I'm 90 is a port that I'm gonna expose for the end user, and 80 is a port which is basically exposed in our Docker file, right? Let me open the Docker file one more time. Right, so this is the 80, right? And we wanted to expose into the 90 port. And after that, the fast API application is the image name. Okay, so ideally the application should be run, right? So we expose our application into the 90 port. Let's copy four zeros and open the 90, right? So our hello world application is running, right? And if you wanted to see the log, so in order to do, first we have to list all the containers. So for that I'm gonna use docker container ps. Okay, so this is our application is running, so it's having the few information, right? Let's copy this container image and use the docker logs hyphen f and the container id. Right now you can see the call that we made from the browser. Let's add one more parameter, um, equal to 123, right? Now you can see whatever we are calling, we can see. So in order to debug, we can use these logs, right? Okay, so so if you wanted to stop this container, so we having docker stop container, right? So again, it's gonna take a container ID. So that was our container ID. So it's gonna stop our container. So if we refresh, so so our site is down, right? And if we see, if you list down all the containers, so the list is empty, right? Okay. So we are done with this part. We already created an image and we run the docker we already demonstrated you we already completed the demonstration of the how we can run the how we can use the docker command and run our uh, fast API application, right? So and the next part I'm going to cover how we can use a docker compose file to run the application, this to run this fast application. The major benefit is using the primary benefit of to using this docker compose file to avoid these manual command, right? So it's very hard to remember each and every command that we use that we used in this earlier example, right? So it's basically one purpose to use the compose to to whatever the like a thing is required, we can put under this docker compose file and we can execute that. Okay, so without delay, let's uh, create a docker compose file. We have to create under the project directory. Why there is unnecessary space? Okay, so this having the version, so current in the current we are using 3.9 docker compose version. Services, right now we are having only one application, so that's why we having the only one entry. Other if you want, if you're having two or more than like a one application, you can add more application and more dependencies. For example, if you wanted to add a Postgres database so that you can store the detail through the Postgres from the application, right? So for the time being, we are using this only one fast API image, right? So So this is one line, version number is required, service line is also required. Then the fast API is it's up to you, whatever you name you wanted. It's the second next thing is the image. So we created a fast API application, right? And we have to also give the port detail that we wanted to expose, right? So again 9080, right? So in order to run the our container through the Docker Compose file, we have to execute this command, right? Again, we have to, in order to execute this Docker Compose, we should be execute from that place where this Docker file, Docker Compose file is present, right? So we having the Docker Compose file, Docker Compose hyphen f, the Docker Compose.yml file. So Docker Compose hyphen compose.yml is not necessary. Whatever in the name suit to you, you can override. For example, you can use Docker hyphen local, Docker hyphen remote, right? Kind of, right? After that, I'm gonna we are using up command. We wanted to up the application, and the hyphen d is again for the daemon mode or detach mode, right? Let's execute. Okay, let's refresh the page again. So its application is up and running, right? And if you wanted to check the all other detail, for example, list like container, right? Sorry, it's typo. Docker container, right? Now you can see this is the container. Again, if you wanted to check the logs hyphen f. Okay, again, if you wanted to stop this container, again, you can use the Docker stop command. There is any other way to stop the container is if you are running your application through the Docker Compose, you can use the Docker Compose hyphen f and the file of the compose file and the down, right? So I'm gonna execute the same command from the same place where the Docker file is exist, right? So now it's stopping all our container that we are running through the this compose file. Let's first check the application. Okay, now it's stop. Let's check list down all the containers. Yeah, so I hope so it's give a little bit clarity like how we can run our fast API application through the Docker from the command and through with the help of Docker Compose file. So yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching this.